The first time I was ever arrested for committing a crime was when I was 14. But here's the thing. So what I was arrested for was in the morning. It was a Monday. I'm 14, Monday morning. I'm getting ready for school. Me and my mum got in a massive argument and we were always arguing. And that was like pent up anger from stuff that happened in my childhood. I still wasn't processing it properly. So my way of dealing with my resentment and frustration, upset was anger. So me and my mum got in a big argument and I had a glass of water in my hands and I threw it against the wall. My mum then shouted at me to get out of the house and go to school, so I did. This is a school day! I went to school. Now at the time, I wouldn't, because of like my anger, I wouldn't just act up at home. I would act up in school as well. By acting up, it wasn't even that I was really naughty. I was just silly. I also have ADHD, but I hadn't been diagnosed then. So every day, so there was a part of the school that it was linked to the school, but it was a whole part of the building that was just for things like the head teacher's office, the deputy head teacher's office, the medical room, the staff room. And children, if they were sent out of class, that is where they would have to go and do their work, sitting in a desk outside these rooms. So I had to go there every day. By this point, I'm already bunking off school as it is. Literally a month later, I would never return to that school. This is when I was still attending at least 3 days a week. So on Monday, I go outside the deputy head teacher's office. I'm just going to call him Mr. Michaels. I'm sat outside Mr. Michaels' office. What the teachers also like to do with me is random searches, because I used to sell cigarettes in school. I was 14, but all my friends were like 18 plus. It was not hard to get these things. And back in the day, a packet of like 20 cigarettes, Mayfair, was like a £5. So I would buy these 20 pack of cigarettes for £5 and then sell these cigarettes for £1 each. I was making profit. Some people sell sweets and donuts, I was selling cigarettes. I'm not proud of it. So the teachers, when they found out I was doing this, they would do random searches. Sometimes I got wise to it and would remember to hide my cigarettes in my bra because they're not searching there. But because of everything that had happened that Monday morning, getting in an argument with my mum, the cigarettes were just in my bag and I left them there. I got searched. The deputy head teacher took the cigarettes away from me and I watched him go back into his little office and put them in the desk drawer. A couple of hours go by. I was sitting outside his office doing my work and I think, do you know what? I'm going to bunk the rest of the day. And how I would bunk is there was a tree on the school field that you could climb up and you just jump over the gate. Those of us used to do it. So I'm thinking, right, after lunchtime, because I had to take my lunchtime separate from other kids as well, the other kids would have their lunchtime, and once the kids would start their first lesson after lunch, that was when I was allowed to be outside. So I waited until then, everyone gets called back in for lunch. I know I'm about to bunk. The deputy head teacher, this is his fault really. This was all his fault. He'd gone off somewhere, I don't know where, left his office unlocked. So I'm thinking, right, before I leave school, before I jump over this gate, I want to get my cigarettes back. I want to get them back. So I go into his office, open the desk drawer where he'd put my cigarettes, pick them up. Underneath my cigarettes were his cigarettes. He had a box of cigarettes. So obviously in my head, I'm thinking, well, that's not fair. He confiscated my cigarettes because cigarettes aren't allowed on school property. Here he is with cigarettes on school property. So I took his as well. I did it for the good of the school. I was gonna get all the cigarettes off the school property. Take them, jump over the gate. They're not on school property anymore. I did the right thing. I was doing a really good thing. As I've sat down, put the cigarettes in my bag, ready to leave the building and get out of school, he comes around the corner. He didn't catch me or anything. I was way out of his office by then, but he was with 2 police officers. What had happened is where I had smashed this glass, my mum, while I was at school, called the police, and the police had come to my school to arrest me for criminal damage, because that's what happens if you break a glass. You can get done for that. What made it worse is because when I stole the cigarettes, there were other kids who saw me do it. There were other kids who had been sent out of class and were sitting in the same area as me and watched me do it. The school I went to was not a good school. It got closed down in the end. Ofsted closed it down. Harris Academy didn't even want to save it. It was a bad school. There were always kids sitting outside the head teacher's office. So anyway, I'm taken to the medical room by the police. They read me my rights, they arrest me. They don't handcuff me. But basically, long story short, so I'm arrested, I'm taken to a police cell, all of that. But because these kids who had seen me steal the cigarettes and then seen a police officer, the rumour went round school that I got arrested for stealing the deputy head teacher's cigarettes. Because when I was led out of the building to be taken to a police car, so many kids saw it happen. We had the music block, the IT block, the science block. People saw it happen. People just saw me being led away by the police. And so the rumour went round the school that I got arrested for stealing the deputy head teacher's cigarettes. Deputy head teacher didn't say anything. I thought he was going to question me on the whole cigarette thing and I would just deny it and he can't prove it. But he didn't even question me about it. And I know damn well he knew I did it because mine were gone too. And I was sitting there. I think he just felt so sorry for me because I would later find out, reading my foster care records, he actually stuck up for me loads. He actually, when social services were saying, I'm this and I'm that, he really had my back, but I didn't find that out until years later. But anyway, that's the story. That's the end. I hope you enjoyed.